The stance for sumo deadlifts, I essentially want a 90 degree here and a 90 degree here. If those are both set, then my hips are gonna fall up. So you gotta just kind of find what works. If you go down and your knees are coming past your toes, then you gotta walk them out a little bit more. And if they're not, then you gotta walk them in a little bit. So pretty much bring around here. Good. Walk up nice and close to the bar. Grab the bar about shoulder width. Chest up, hips back, shoulders back. And then just a squat all the way down.
Yeah.
One more wrist. So chest up. Squat. Tuck the chin the whole time. Yeah. There you go. Your traps nice and engaged. And when you're coming down, you can kind of separate the deadlift into two parts, slow it down a little bit, and really focus on tipping first. Because if you're hitting your knees, essentially what it means is you haven't gotten past your knees from when you start squatting down. Tip, 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 tip. Then I squat. And see, the difference between the sumo and the conventional is only this. In the sumo, I'm here, so I only have to tip this much. And the conventional, as I tip here, my knees come out further. So I have to go further, right? It puts me at a further mechanical disadvantage. I have to pull further back.
Okay.
Makes it a bit harder.
If you're fasting, do you still work out when you're fasting?
There's a couple of things that you can do. The first thing that I always remind people is that food is our third, most immediate needed source of energy. We can go 3 weeks without food. We can go 3 days without water. We can go about 3 minutes without oxygen.
Okay.
So breathing is going to re-oxygenate and pick you up in ways that you can't even imagine. Especially when you're doing some breath work while you're fasted, you'll feel like fuzzy and amazing and just have so much energy. It's awesome. Hydration, I see your downline, so I think you're good on that front. Since you do sweat a lot and you do drink a lot of water, make sure your salt levels are good. That'll make you feel a little bit lack of energy.
So Gatorade or Pedialyte.
Gatorade is good. They actually used to have more sodium. Coconut water is actually the best. They have more potassium and electrolytes than most sports drinks. There you go. Nice. There you go. Tip, 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 tip. Very good. All right. I want you to stick your ass out a little bit more. All right. That's just going to help you activate better. Nice. Okay. So essentially, this pull is to demonstrate or illustrate your spine. See how it's touching your ass now, your mid-back and your neck? That's the same thing I want your spine to be good all the time. So if it comes off any of those 3 places, then you know you messed up during the deadlift. Knees. There you go. Knees, hip, hip, hip. Chin, chin. There you go. Nice. Up. Chin, 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 chin. That was pretty damn good look there. So when this happens, right, just even a slight rounding of the upper back, then these are not going to be engaged. And those 2 top ones are not going to connect, right? Yeah, see, when you're having difficulty there and you feel like you can't bend anymore, your knees will give you more room. And then when you come back up, press your heels into the ground. I think I can, hammer out a couple more sets, a couple more reps. Should I, essentially? That was his question. So my answer to that was no. When it comes to exercises like deadlift, we're not so much attacking the muscles, just direct bicep curl work. We're training the nervous system. And the nervous system, we don't want to hammer your nervous system until it's completely fatigued and it's not doing the exercise correctly anymore. We want to keep your nervous system strong and intact and reinforce good habits while you're practicing those movements and then slowly build them up over time. If I had you do 2 more sets, so you did good form on these 2 previous sets, right? Great form, in fact. If I had you do 2 more sets and your form started to deteriorate, that's what we call a faulty recruitment pattern. It is 10 times harder to fix a faulty recruitment pattern than it is to build a new recruitment pattern. So I'd rather you just stick with the good sets and keep building up those good habits rather than trying to reverse bad habits.